iPhone Drissa. Hey Drissa, ciao. Hey Roy, vanaf nu gaat het in het Engels. Hey man, hola. Bonjour mon ami.
Hij is muted.
Bonjour mon ami. From now on I will do this webinar, or at least this ceremony. I will do this one from now on in English. I will mute you guys, because otherwise I hear all sorts of stuff. Can you check if you can write in the chat box? And actually, can everyone hear me well? Thumbs up if you can hear me well. Roy, I know you hear me well. And now, yes. Oh, yes. Awesome. Awesome. I want to do a ceremony like this every week. I will have one tomorrow as well, to recharge each other up towards higher dimensions. And I want to give some insights on my own shamanic journey, and give you insights on what I found. Because what I discovered in many ways is that I found really cool information that is still present within the old cultures. So like the cultures within Asia, Africa, and as well in South America, that are very well needed within our communities. Because things like social anxiety, mental health problems, the lack of spirituality, not really understanding how certain basic things like, let's put it real, love really works. I disagree with that. Rafael. Hey, Rafael, nice to see you. Please let me know in the chat if you can hear me well, or put your thumbs up. That would be perfect. Nice, man. Lovely to see you guys. First of all, it's a welcome call. My name is Michel, but all of you guys know. But for the record, my name is Michel, and I'll be your shaman for today. To give you a small insight on what a shaman is, a shaman is, or at least I inspire myself as a shaman based on the description from what a shaman is from Siberia. And a shaman is someone that knows of or knows the spirits. That's one description. Another way to describe a shaman is, and this is a description I changed a bit towards my purpose, and that is, the ones that have been cured out of their own sorrow are reborn as shamans because they guide others out of theirs. So in a way, I try to do all sorts of stuff and have a lot of knowledge that I would love to share towards igniting you guys and making you feel alive. Because doing my research, I discovered that many people are stuck within their own mind. And I will want to explain a little bit more about it later. But yes, and later on, when you guys are ready, I will also open up the chat box for questions. And actually, if you already have questions, write them down. But first of all, first things first, welcome that you guys are here. I'm opening up my cheat sheet because I want to talk about all the cool stuff. Is that, like I explained in the email, my mission is to raise the vibration on the planet. And I do this one-on-one, and I had beautiful results. Like a couple of 2 years ago already, when I was in Panama, I met a beautiful girl called Talia, and I wasn't online for many years, and then I connected back to her, and this is a response I got from her, and I would love to share this, because this is something that I would love to give you as well. Hey Estelle, please let me know if you can hear me, because I'm going to share an awesome response I got from one of the people I worked with in the past, and it goes like this. Oh, speaking of magical creatures, thank you, Michel, you dear, dear soul brother of mine. What a big pleasure to hear from you. Every now and then you pop into my mind, and I feel just so blessed by your magical presence in my life and the doors you opened for me. This is, of course, really awesome. And I want more people to experience this, and by sharing it, because a little bit of a backstory, I was really stuck within my mind in the past. I, like many of you guys, had trouble in my past, and they shown themselves as the scars they are, from a sort of upbringing that I didn't like, and all sorts of stuff that I didn't like. And one of the ways I tried to solve it, or one of the ways I tried to solve it, was actually trying to solve the problem. And that kept me stuck within actually becoming more and more depressed. And I didn't know how to get out of it. And it was so bad that actually I got a form of autoimmune sickness because of it. And you can describe it as when I'm overstressed or over energized in a way, it feels as if I'm burning alive. That's not something I'm very happy about, and I never want anyone to have it. But now I discovered that that it actually is a sign of something amazing. Oh, Andrew's here, and what I wanted to talk about is that, as I described, is most of us experience our tribal awakening or spiritual awakening through the experiences of personal disaster that make us aware of enough is enough. Because what I discovered is that is it that we feel pain, or is the pain telling us something that we're doing something against what we actually are supposed to do? And the second thing I figured out is true, because think about it like this. Whenever you try to solve something, or whenever something already happened and you survived it, that means you already survived it. But our mind is a very vivid or very aware protector of making sure it will not happen again. So therefore, it always tries to remind you of, let's not do that again. But what happened, and what happened to me, and maybe you recognize this within yourself, is that whenever you think back of the bad memory, your body will react to it. And let's call the body the subconscious mind. Your body will react to it in a way like, whoa, this isn't something I'm happy with. This isn't something I want to experience again. So it reacts to it like, nope, let's not do it. But most of us, instead of reacting to it like, hey, my mind is thinking a bad thought or is recalling a bad memory, it actually tells itself, oh, I'm thinking a bad thought. I feel horrible, so it must be true. And therefore, in a way, we get stuck within a sort of loop. This is very common. And it actually is also in such a way very common that most of us are stuck within a sort of spiritual imprisonment that doesn't feel very well. Another example of this is that I also explained in previous videos, but I will tell it within this ceremony because you guys are all part of it, that you never get what you want. You get what you are. And it's very easy in many ways. For instance, when you're angry, you'll get more easily into a fight. When you're sad, you'll attract more sadness. But at the other hand, if you're in love, you'll attract more love. And when you're flirty, you have more fun. And by implementing this idea, I actually am experiencing more fun. Like, this is something I want to share with you guys. Within 2 hours, I'm on the bus to Paris. I'm invited to go to Paris, and I'm meeting 2 people that I haven't met before, but I feel that they're my best friends already. Because we connected with each other because we actually shared our true voice. What do I mean with a true voice? Our true voice is that we stop being politically correct. And what do I mean with politically correct? We are learned that we cannot offend anyone. Well, I agree. When you're truthful, you shouldn't be awful. That's a normal rule. But many people, like I was at least, become also politically correct when we try to tell someone that we love someone. Like, do you remember when you were a teen and you really, really, really liked someone, but because you were rejected in the past or something else happened, you actually waited. You never told her. Well, that is actually something that is even worse, because your heart is calling you like, hey, this is something you want to have. And at the same time, your mind is making sure like, yeah, but what if she might say no? Well, the what if is something that you're telling yourself, and it isn't really true though. And the only way to figure it out is actually by venturing out and doing it. But that is easily said than done, because in my case, I grew up in a family that wasn't really celebrated with love. And I think many people are or grew up in a similar situation. And for them, I want to give a sort of solution in many ways, because like I explained, that our mind is very capable of. Hola, Ponzo, nice to see you. But I want to continue. Our mind is very capable of telling us when things went wrong. Is at the same time, it's very capable of recalling back the most beautiful times that happened. And I give you a clue. Most oftenly, our worst time is connected to something that was very valuable and loving just before it. Because many of us really love to fly. Like when you jump out of an airplane, the fall will not kill you. A sudden landing will. And it's about actually learning to softly land, become aware of your surroundings, and therefore consciously choose, okay, what kind of choice will I make to actually recalibrate myself towards getting back into the airplane for the next jump so that I can fly again. This is as well a sort of, let's say, jump, or in Dutch, it's a beautiful word called ezelsbruggetje. This is a beautiful jump towards this example I want to give you. This is a graph from Hawkins, and he made a beautiful graph that goes from lower vibrational emotions to the higher vibrational emotions. You can see it, they're neither, the lower ones aren't bad, and the good ones aren't awesome. It's just a different state of being. And this gave me, this inspired me, because think about it. Most of us really like to be happy, and they find it really awful to be angry, for instance. But both of the emotions are very important to give you a sort of holistic base of how you live. Because when something awful happens, it's actually very important to make sure that you are able to clear it out, because your emotions have a purpose. And to give you my insight on what an emotion is energy in motion. It's there for a purpose. It's actually when you're really happy, like in love, your heart opens up, you stand tall, and you're like, yes, the world is mine. And when something happens that goes against it, you actually need a different emotion. Like if someone kicks you in the face, it's not the healthiest thing to tell them, oh, I love you for kicking me in the face. You need to show your anger. But in many ways, we lost our ability to show our teeth in many ways, because it's, in a way, it's not allowed. And if you do not allow your emotions, like let's call your emotion an entity, like in the past we would call them demons, because that's an explanation of how you can see an emotion, is it's there to tell you something. It's there to actually explain to you how you can solve something. Like anger is a very good way to get rid of certain poisons, and it can also be a vibrational poison, like when someone consciously gave you pain. At the same time, if you hold on to that same emotional poison for too long, it will become poisonous. So whenever you want to let go of it now, you will not only poison yourself, but you will poison the surroundings with anger that isn't theirs. And this is an example. Like, think about it at the workspace. Many people experience this, at least I did. Is that I worked as a welder, I worked as a craftsman for a couple of years because I wanted to learn how to weld. And the workers are awesome, it's really great, but at the same time, I don't know why and where in the resume it was written down that when you wanted to become a manager, you needed to be a bully as well. But what happened is that a manager would come over, would tell them all sorts of awful stuff, as if they had the biggest fun in their life to do it. But what really happens is actually they would really kill the vibe of the craftsmen. They didn't do the best work they could, but at the same time, they didn't want to lose their job because it was their base of income. So they kept on, or swallowed, their response. So instead of responding to it, they swallowed the response. What happens next is actually your body, or your, let's say, spiritual being, does not like, hey, good, let's talk about it later, Ponzo, because I would love to have your insight on it as well. Is that actually when you keep on swallowing it, all of a sudden your energy being or your energetic being or your body, subconscious mind, does not like it, so it tries to get rid of it. Where does it get rid of it most often? The ones you love, because those are the ones that get close by. And when love wants to come out of your heart, first it will remove all the poison that's within the system. So what happens is someone is actually ruining your vibe, and in exchange you actually ruin the vibe of the ones you love. That isn't really healthy, because in the end, the guy that was punished at work will actually punish its own love life in many ways. It can be family, it can be friends, it can be anything. So it's actually mirroring a state of awful. But like I said earlier, you never get what you want, you get what you are. And I want to give you the chance actually to learn, like I did, to actually consciously update and upgrade your vibrational being, so that you can get rid of the poisonous vibrations that were in you, like anger, sadness, and everything. And at the same time, consciously decide to experience and share the highest vibration with the ones you really love. Because a little bit back, because some new people are now part of this ceremony, is that I try to solve my problems, and I did it for 10 years, and I got really sick because of it. There are some people that know me from that time, and they really see a different person now. And at the same time, it's like a good example on how to look at it is like this. You are, and this is back to the emotions. Emotions are energies in motion. When something horrible happens, most of us, like I did as well, want to hold on to that motion, to that energy. It's like sound. Think about it like sound. Sound we cannot see, but it's all around us. When we play nice music on the speakers, it's a vibration. But if you hold on to the energy, what happens to it? Think about it like water. If you put water in a bucket, it will die, or at least it will attract mosquito larvae, and so parasites. A river that is really moving and everything, it's full of life, and no parasites can be in it. A good example, look at least yourself or at friends that became depressed. Most oftenly, they got all sorts of friends that weren't really healthy for them, and actually were always trying to get more energy out of them. While the ones that were really flourishing actually experienced people that were really flourishing. An example, I see a lot of faces that I've met in the past couple of weeks. And one of the things that I discovered is that I actually let go of my bucket, put it in the river. And when I started to move, all of a sudden I started to flourish, because I met people because I shared my knowledge, because I was I stopped hiding my awesomeness. I therefore was mirrored my awesomeness. And all of a sudden, people invested in me. Like you see this headphone, this is a gift of someone that I haven't met yet in person, but I met her online. I just went into her webinar and she was like, I really enjoy you. And she invested in me $100. I now have all the gear to make podcasting, to make this webinar, and to actually create ceremony like this every week, because this is my promise to you guys, because I want to update always the good vibes. Another thing that I would like to invite you, if you haven't done it yet, in the chat, if you have a look in the chat as well, please say yes if you can see it in the chat. I put the first link of my contact page. I have once every 2 weeks or once a week, I have I have some knowledge that I want to share, and to keep you posted on the next stuff. But at the same time, that I wanted to tell you as well, I don't see it. Okay, good. Andrew, I will share it later on, but I think you're part of it. I will share it later on. But first of all, let's continue back on the thing that I wanted to share. Is this?
It's just
Oh, wait.
You can go backwards. You can't go backwards in the chat. Do it in the end.
I will do it in the end. Thank you, man. I didn't know. I learned. Hey, I learned something. Good, because it's the first ceremony. One thing that I wanted to share is this, and this is very important. I explained to you how, let's say, the more modern communities now are stuck within actually sharing each other how awful we feel all the time. We get it on work, we get it on television, we get it everywhere. What happens with our body in many ways when we hear always awful energies? And that is, we feel awful. And one of the biggest examples is, for instance, many people are watching the news, and the news is one of the best examples. They find, every day they find one guy that lives deep into the mountain that has the plan to kill the world. And they have a whole show on him, and they tell like, hey, this guy is killing the world. Look at him. He's going to kill the world. And of course he has a beard and he looks very angry, and he's like, whoa, I'm going to kill the world. Well, now look at it differently though. Every second, a new baby is born. That means that at least every second, at least 2 people are in the nude, having the fun of their lives, celebrated with an orgasm. So if you can see it, one guy in a mountain having a horrible time. Reality is that 2 people are having the best experience of their life. And I see you laughing, Ponzo, and I'm happy to give you that joy. I'm happy to give you that joy because it's important to give you that joy. One of the biggest reasons is, this is also an example of what I really feel is real spirituality. And I got it from a book, Think and Grow Rich. He talks about it, that there are 3 main positive emotions: faith, love, and sex, that are the guiding force towards your higher dimension. And it goes like this. Think about it. Our orgasm is so powerful, a child can be born. But at the same time, this same energy, and this is something mostly guys need to understand as well, is something we can transmute or transform towards everything we want to build or create. But by ignoring it or by actually experiencing it as something horrible, we actually lose the ability to create something awesome. So in the coming course, because of course I made a course on this, on how to actually replenish your energies, making sure that you, instead of being angry at looking beautiful women, because I will explain how it works, or my version of it, and I'm curious on your version, is how to replenish your energy, how to feel more alive, and how actually also how to tune yourself up towards feeling more alive, so that actually you'll become more alive, therefore attract more aliveness. But it goes like this. Many guys, and Ponzo and Estelle, you know something that most guys don't know, is that actually women are still connected to the moon cycle. Every month they're connected to their bellies, their sexual core. A girl therefore will always become a woman, no matter what. Most guys, especially because of the schooling system, won't, because they actually slowly are moved up towards living in their head. Therefore, in the past, like in the Spartans and still within shamanic cultures, there was a hero's journey to actually go away from mom's protection, so from a child's position, towards a guy, to become a warrior, to become aware of your core energy, become aware of your being in many ways. And one of the ways that I found to do this is by shamanic tools. Like, this is a beautiful singing bowl from Nepal. It sounds beautiful. Here's an example. But one of the ways you play it, because not everyone can play it, is because it doesn't make a sound when you just strike it. It actually is an amplifier of your heart's energy. And one of the things it does is it actually brings you back to the now. It gets you out of the head and into the now, because when you think of doing something, it will not work. When you're just experiencing it and feeling it, it will. So it's a very good teaching tool in this as well. Earlier in this talk, I talked about me being a welder. This is also, like in Dutch, an ezelsbruggetje, or a bridge to a next point I wanted to make. I discovered that during my shamanic journeys, they work a lot with fire as a teacher. Well, welding works with fire, controlled fire in many ways. And when you try to do it just by doing it, you will actually burn yourself. So if you think about it, and if you're not in the momentum, you will not make great work, you will burn yourself. So it's a quick teacher, because you need to be in a dance almost. You need to be in a sort of momentum, a bodily momentum that will create the best work. It's as if they change within their state. And even though, and this is a beautiful connection I saw, even though most people don't see it as a sort of high state of flow, I actually recognize it as a high state of flow that sportsmen of the highest caliber have, was like say athletes, extreme sportsmen, but also the shamanic cultures talk about. So going back as well, another example, and I hope this will make you feel alive as well. Another thing that I really want to talk about is that currently, because we all try to solve our problems before we can actually show ourselves, or at least it's our imagination telling us, well, if you fix this, then you're able to do something. Or when you are able to get that, you'll be able to do something. Well, what happens then is that you're still stuck in the mind, isolating yourself from everyone, trying to figure out on how to do something before you actually can connect. And examples of this, and this is what happened when I was a teenager, is that when you really want to, well, for instance, this is the example of a first kiss. When you really want to do something, you're like, awesome, this will work and it will be exciting. But you never experience, let's say, the electrifying awesomeness that comes around when you're intimately kissing. Well, the only thing you're truly doing then is trying to choke someone with your tongue. And I see most people living their life like that. They try to think of doing something, but it's experienced as if they're trying to, or as if they're choked with their tongue. And this is as well something that I think is very sad, because people are actually willing and wanting to experiencing awesome kisses, awesome fun, awesome things, but they do not know how to experience it because they first want to think themselves towards doing so. For now, are there some people that have any questions? Because I would love to know. Does anyone have any questions? Please raise your hand, because I would love to answer. Or yeah, Rafael, I would love to have your. Oh wait, can I unmute you? Yeah.
Michel.
Yes.
I would love to know about your shamanic experience.
I will, yes, yeah, I would love to talk about it. My shamanic journey actually is a lot older than I thought in the beginning. In many ways, my grandmother was a shaman. She was able to cure burns by connecting to, as she called it, beings in the other dimensions that she talked to, and actually she could heal burns within 2 days. And there are examples of children then that are as old as I am now, that one of them is an example that got boiling oil on his face when he was 3. It took her 2 days of hard work, but he actually healed scar-free. This is something that most people would not be able to think about it. But then at the same time, she grew up in a time that there were no hospitals in the area. So many people still had the village doctors. It also existed within the Netherlands. And what I discovered is that she already gave me insights, did a lot of work with me. She had all sorts of insights as well of plant medicine, but the Dutch kind. So not the psychedelics we are now all aware of within South America, or the cannabis that is very popular now, but all sorts of stuff for all sorts of ailments. Like chamomile is a perfect plant medicine that will get you out of flu. But it's like slowly moving away. Another thing is that I really suffered from a sort of autoimmune sickness because I was trying to hold on to my energy, like I explained in the bucket, in such a way that it was physically so uncomfortable that it was very hard to breathe even. And at that time I was busy, and I will mute you for now, Rafael. I was busy working on a documentary for a festival in Panama called Tribal Gathering, and this is 3 years ago. And what happened is that I got 100 hours of footage, and they asked me like, hey, we need to make an after movie of 20 minutes. We don't know how to do it. You're a good storyteller, so please do. And during the interviews, there was a beautiful guy. I forgot his name. It was a German guy. He is an engineer, by the way. And he told about his most spiritual experience there. And all of a sudden, the hairs on my neck stood straight up. He said, my most spiritual experience was ayahuasca. And once again, instead of feeling pain, it was as if a sort of flame opened up from the heart. It felt really like, you know, when you hit your elbow, like it's like the telephone, but then softer, all of a sudden, like all over the body. And he said, like, before I came to this festival, or before I had that experience, I would consider myself an atheist. Now, not anymore. And that was the thing. That was the thing. I actually booked my ceremony a couple of days later. Actually, the guy I worked with was very angry at me. He was like, "No, you cannot do it. You need to prepare." And he was against it. And this is another thing that I want to talk about a bit later. But he was against it, wanting to actually control me in many ways. But I did it. And first of all, I thought this would be or will be focused on all my trouble, reliving them, everything. I was a bit scared, but actually the opposite happened. The opposite was created, because it was like something I can experience as a bath of love. And one of the things that happened is actually the plant medicine, and this is something I discovered later on, is that a plant medicine is a shortcut towards your highest state of consciousness. And it's a teacher. It will teach you how to heal certain things from the past. And the thing that happened with me is, because it's a very visually active plant teacher, is that I was able to embrace myself when I was in trouble when I was 8. There was a thing that happened when I was 8 that was shocking then, but it was still vividly in my mind. So I was able to embrace him. This was all within my own memory. But the funny thing is that I felt arms around myself then. So that's actually really crazy in many ways, because I was hugging myself and relieving and changing a lot of stuff. And then something else happened, because think about it as a theater, and a theater that is on a rolling disc. And all of a sudden, the position that I still had as a memory that was very scary was actually something that all of a sudden the whole stage was turning and it was moving around. And all of a sudden I could see all the layers, and it was very clear to me because it actually clarifies. And all of a sudden I discovered something that I can only explain like this. How big is my hand? And how big is it now? The size didn't change, only your perspective did. And this is part of my mission as well, is to give you new perspective. Because you can look at something as something very unbreakable and big, but by changing the perspective, all of a sudden you see that you can move around it. Another way, and this is actually a more technical way, and I think it's nice to share this as well, is that ayahuasca's main working element is DMT, dimethyltryptamine. Dimethyltryptamine is a molecule that is very simple, and it is actually in everything. It's our dream molecule. Our body makes it ourselves, and it's activated within our pineal gland. It's, let's say, our third eye. Think about it like this. Our eyes, it actually has the same filaments as our real eyes have, but then reversed. Like our eyes actually receive light. So this is how we can translate what we see outside. But in many ways, our inner eye is actually like a beamer, because it activates the brain as well. So in many ways, I feel it's the storyteller from our bodily, let's say our body, towards what we want, what it wants to tell, like vivid dreams and everything. Currently, we are killing that same pineal gland with the fluoride in our toothpaste, the food choices we make. A lot of stress will actually also calcify it, so it doesn't really work. Back again as well to my shamanic journey, is that yes, it was ayahuasca that gave me the first insight, but it was just the starting point. Because it's not the plant that will get you there. It's actually a shortcut towards your highest self. And what is your highest self? It's the most celebrated self. It's the most ignited self. And one thing that I also figured out is there are many other plant medicines like rapé. Palo Santo is a wood that actually has a certain smell that will clear out bad energies. But what are bad energies? If something stinks, it's a bad energy. If something smells awesome, it's a high energy. And this energy, or this small piece of wood from Peru, will actually clear out awful energy and will actually make it neutral in many ways. So there's room again for nicer energies. This is still something that is very, very beneficial. Another way, what I wanted to do, and this is something that I shared, if you already had the free videos, is that I shared Aqua di Florida. Aqua di Florida is a beautiful tool from Peru, and it has many smells. It's actually when you're within lower vibrations, so let's say the more anger, sadness, that kind of vibration, it will smell a little bit of cinnamon. The higher your vibration is, the more like lemony it will smell, all up until the point that it actually almost smells electrifying. Within the course that I am offering you, I'm actually sharing a way on how to really use this tool that is that will actually uplift you towards a higher dimension. Because the good thing is that when you first smell, let's say, the more cinnamony taste, when you actually ignite it and energize yourself with the same substance, you slowly will move up towards feeling more alive. A technical way of looking at it, most people breathe, when you're scared, you breathe on top of your lungs. That's also where your fear receptors are, your fight or flight. Lower within your body, so lower within the lungs, you have the more relaxive state. This smells nice and fresh, and it has a very intense smell that the body reacts to it. So you actually breathe deeper, therefore igniting more your lower state, your more lower energies within the body, therefore replenishing as well the lower energies. So that's a way on how to explain it. And then, yes, of course, the films, and I dove deep. I also made an article about it, or a blog post about it, on how to look at psychedelics as a first kiss, because one of the things that I want to share with you guys is important. Don't think all of a sudden, oh, Michel had the experience with psychedelics or with ayahuasca, so that must be a tool for me as well. No, you need to have the calling for it. And the calling for it is more of a set, let's say, uh, feeling in love in many ways, that you feel ignited in many ways towards it. So for instance, if you do not feel called to it and someone would just give it to you, then actually it will not benefit you. Because one thing that I can tell you is this: it's not the plant that is does anything wrong, but when abused, it will kick your ass. Because in many ways, it has a consciousness. It has the consciousness of the planet in it. And when you abuse it, like for instance, with any substance, like alcohol, drugs, anything, in the end, it will kick your ass. The reason why I talk about drugs in this way is that also drugs are a shortcut to a higher vibration, to feeling more alive. That's the reason why people are addicted to it, because they do not want to stay stuck within their lower vibration. But instead of using any substance outside of yourself to heal something from within, because that's actually an indication that you're afraid of something that's within, I invite you to actually express yourself fully, but also give you the tools to ignite yourself fully, so you can consciously become celebrated, angry when needed, because you need all the emotions, but that you can more often can actually ignite yourself towards more awesome. Does everyone actually can see it within the already sees the chat box? Is that I here now actually invite you to have a look at my offering, because it is now within a discount. It is from €97 or $97 normally to 27. It's a discounted price, especially for the first 20, to have a look at it, because I want to make it accessible, because what I want to offer is something that is very valuable. I already helped many people in succeeding with what they want to do, and with actually igniting them towards a higher state of feeling more alive, because that's the main goal I have, so that they can actually share more aliveness. And it's a 6-week course. And of course, I cannot be with everyone all the time. So therefore, I made an online course, is that it will go through several things. First of all is becoming aware of who's talking, because aware of your inner voice. Because what is your inner voice? Because in many ways, we sometimes get into a loop within ourselves. So for instance, something bad happened, and instead of talking it out with them, like the manager, we keep on fighting with them in our mind, trying to figure out how we're going to do it. And we're screaming at them and we're angry at them, not at them, but at our own imagination. So to whom is all that bad energy going? Towards yourself. You're actually punishing yourself vibrationally instead of actually experiencing the biggest fun. So what happens? You're trying to fight it, and maybe if you didn't experience it, you did experience it with someone else. You become really angry, and all of a sudden, what did you get? You're angry, so you get more easily into a fight, and all of a sudden the same shitstorm keeps on repeating. But at the same time, there's also a reason, like, what is it actually telling you? Because your mind isn't there to punish you, it's actually there to tell you, like, this is something we need to solve. This is something we need to solve. And by ignoring it, it will actually tell all sorts of stuff. So it's like one big rainbow of all sorts of words. So it's like very frustrating and tiresome to keep track of it. So the first thing is, well, and it's in the email, get your pen and paper ready, because start writing what you need to do, because you need to make a list of what it's telling you. Then afterwards, of course, from nowhere to now here, well, when you're stuck in the mind, you're nowhere because you're stuck in nowhere. To get back to now here, because where are you now? And this is back to the Hawkins scales that I showed you, is you can only start from the now. If you tell yourself, well, what if I could have done that in the past, then I would have changed something now. Well, that's something we can never ever change. It's something we can only change now. Where are you now? And from which point do you want to expand yourself? That's also important. And by the way, you already made a list of everything you wanted to change or something that's awesome. Well, the third week is actually eating your demons. This is also important because the horrible memories in the past are actually also sort of entities that are still sucking your energies from the now. But there are ways to actually reclaiming that energy within the now, so that you can actually feel energized again. And it's by knowing what you don't want, you'll uncover your true calling. This is important. And I'm just checking. Ooh la la la! So that's awesome, Zongo. You're awesome. You're awesome. You're awesome, because I got my yes, you're awesome. I'm gonna make this perfect. And you know what, Zongo? I'm gonna see you tomorrow in Paris. That's also awesome because I've got something else to share. Then what I wanted to say as well, set your North Star, because another thing that I want to tell you is this. The emails keep on peeping, is that another thing that I want to tell you is this, is that setting your North Star, first of all, your brain will tell you everything, it's horrible. Oh, nice, Andrew, you are awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome. That's good vibe as well to you guys. Because then setting your North Star, by knowing what you don't want, you actually can now be aware of what you do want. Because you need to have a plan of where you want to go. And that's important, even if it's so utopical that you think now it will never happen. Well, good guess. 6 weeks ago, I didn't know, even this morning, I didn't know I would be driving to Paris this night to see two people that I admire. I wouldn't have known that people are investing in me for $100 to share this awesomeness with you. I wouldn't have known to actually ignite people and experience so much fun with so many people that I actually feel super connected with. Because in the end, that's the whole point. That's what I want for you guys. I want you to ignite yourself, to feel awesome, to actually experience awesome. Otherwise, that's so sad, because I'm now almost 32 and it's time for me now to travel. Instead of waiting until I'm 68 and then, oh yeah, now I'm going to the beaches. Well, I'm wrinkly and whatever, and all the nude ladies on the beach then aren't mine. Well, I want to have them now. That's the deal. And I want you to have them as well, because you need to experience the fullness of your awesomeness. Okay, then another thing, flip the image, because this is also part of the same course. Flip the image, because you know now what you don't want. You pick your 3 most horrible ones. Let's just pick the most horrible ones. And the most awesome thing is, by checking out or changing it or finding your North Star, you'll discover that you actually already found the opposite of what you didn't want to happen, and actually you found the opposite of where you want to go. And then the next step is, of course, move up. But thank you guys. You guys are awesome. So, oh, wow. It's just amazing because you did it. And now Andrew Croft and Zongo, you guys are so awesome. Well, another thing that I want to share, because of course, really, really awesome for the ones that shared it, for the ones that haven't signed up yet, because if you're not really ready yet to buy the course, or if you want to think about it, and to be honest, the first 20 will get it for 27. Later on, I need to up the price because more stuff needs to be created. The way I set it up is like this. I want to share as much awesome as I can. In exchange, I would love for you to become part of it and make sure that more stuff can be created. Another thing that I would love to invite you, and this is already possible when you sign up to this page, is check it out, have a look, and actually share your position on it, because it's not something that I only want to share something with you. It's also important that I can actually have a debate, have an exchange, because like I said in the beginning, I shared it with Roy at least, but I will share it again. The true explanation of a shaman, that's why I know that I'm a shaman, is that the ones that got themselves out of trouble became shamans precisely because they found a cure. But I changed it towards the ones that got themselves out of trouble are reborn as shamans because they guide others out of their trouble. Because by igniting yourself towards more awesome, you'll recognize trouble easier. And instead of letting it become a horrible thing, you can actually quickly help them out of it. And that's the best gift you can have, because you will replenish them with high vibration, and at the same time you'll move them up as well. So in many ways, and sadly Ponzo left, but I will share this later on, I've created my own shamanic tools, and I wanted to share some with you. This is a kuripe, and a kuripe is something for the plant medicine called sananga or rapé, and it's a clearing. It's something to clear out, and this is a tool from Peru. And I was like, cool, this one is from Peru, but currently they're robbing the rainforest from all its woods, so it isn't really sustainable to keep importing it from Peru, especially not if it needs to come by boat. So I decided on creating my own, because there was bamboo laying around. They just dumped it, and I decided to make my own. So I recreated my own version from Peru. I'm actually offering them as well in the future, because I want you as well, for the next and upcoming, let's say, free classes, to experience the benefits of rapé, to actually clear out your energies, so that instead of trying to think yourself out of trouble, you're actually able to quickly get rid of the let's say of the stagnant energy that's in your face, and therefore quickly move further ahead. Another thing that I discovered, because this is awesome, think about it, this thing is from Nepal, the singing bowl, but in an antique shop, and I found a bell, and it's 150 years old, but think about it. Who was ruling India 150 years old, and also parts of Nepal? England did. So the same knowledge that is within the singing bowl is also within the bell. So parts of the same knowledge is within that situation. Another thing that I discovered, like I explained it with Aqua di Florida, is you've got it from Germany. It's called Kölnisches Wasser, so water from Cologne. And when I put them next to each other, they have the same smell profile. So next to being part of this beautiful workshop, for the future, I want to do something like this. I want to make the community bigger, share the knowledge that I found, and at the same time, I would love for you to actually become a sort of tinkerer with it. Like, I've got raw cacao coming up. Raw cacao will open your heart space, and it will actually make your heart more easily open up. Well, I would love for you to actually experiment with the raw cacao, with raw honey, and give you the tools to create your best, most personal workspace in many ways. Oh, I need to check actually, because my mom is picking me up before I go with the bus. If I'm not, no, nothing still going on, because I need to leave you guys sadly soon. Is that yes, I want to have an exchange like this. And another thing that I want to tell you, and this is so amazing already within the journey, is that because I actually spoken out about my real ideas, I met a guy from Jamaica. He owns a hotel. I don't know why I connected with him, but it just happened. His name is Patrick, and all of a sudden he said, "Yeah, man, really nice. I'm from the community that is still connected. That's the same as Jason Bolt." And he explained on the plant medicines they use. They talked about how they look at how the earth is actually able to energize the things. And I want to offer those stuff as well. And he's actually sending me a box full of plant medicines, not psychedelic kinds, but all sorts of stuff I've never experienced. And I want to share them and try to figure out with you guys on how they work. And he explained us all sorts of stuff. Now I met another guy that I actually gave a prime offer to. I helped him to ignite him one-on-one. And what happened is that he all of a sudden explained there's a friend of his in Alicante in Spain that worked for 40 years on writing down all the plant medicines from the mountains of Alicante in Spain. But it's in Spanish and nobody has heard about it, but I want to offer this knowledge. Because think about it with Spain. Spain was, until the 70s, ruled by a fascist leader called Franco. So the whole hospital system wasn't working. That's actually good, because therefore the old tribal communities or the tribal knowledge within Spain is still vividly alive. And that's also something I would love for you guys to experience. Yes, awesome. For anyone, would you like to have a ceremony like this, or at least an updated like this once a week or once every 2 weeks? Let me know with thumbs up, because I would love to give good vibes. Yeah, man, awesome. Well, as an ending, I would love to share with you two things. First of all, three things I will share with you, because then I need to pack my bags. Is that I created a mantra that is actually designed in such a way, and you will get it in the email if you, you will get it in the email. I will get it to you anyway. It's like this. It's a more awesome mantra. I created it on the 1st of January because 2020 needs to be awesome. It goes like this, and if you're ready, you can repeat. I hereby claim my awesomeness, my celebrated life, a life full of adventure and bliss. I'm focused and ignited, letting go of what does not serve me. And that's something you can tell yourself every time, because you're awesome and you celebrate your life. And by telling yourself that you celebrate your life, you'll experience more celebration. Another thing that I created is I created, together with a beautiful guy called Tony Noble, a meditation that you can find on My Tribal Self on Spotify, or My Tribal Self on Anchor. There are all sorts of lists. It will be soon as well on Apple. On Apple. It's a meditation that actually is designed in such a way that if you just observe it, it will move you up from the lower vibrations all the way up to the higher vibrations, so you feel more happy with it within just 10 minutes. And the example, and he wasn't able to join us today, a guy called Rogier that I met 5 weeks ago. His teeth were all yellow. He was very unhappy. He was really depressed. And he was in my past previous webinars, and he's a different guy. He smiles, he's happy. His teeth are nice, because I give him some tips on how to do it with coconut oil. Also something I learned from within my shamanic journey. And it's super exciting, because he was someone that was truly forgotten, and now is actually going to be on the same online, let's say, interview show from Gloria Goldberg. So a shout out to her as well, that actually started and kickstarted my journey towards more awesome. Yeah, so I will give you a small example to tune you up as well with the singing bowl before I close. That's the second thing. Close your eyes. It will be more fun. once again, thank you guys for being so awesome. And yeah, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being my tribe, and I would love to connect with you the next time. Tomorrow will be the next one. If you really enjoyed this webinar, please share it with other people. I'm doing my best to share it with as many people as I can. The effect of that, by sharing it with so many people, is that I'm blocked till tomorrow afternoon by Facebook, by because they thought that I was sharing too much and spamming everyone. So I won't be able, but I think my friends are more than happy to share my knowledge. And thank you. As a closing, does anyone have a closing word or something to ask? Because I've got a couple of minutes. Wait, can you actually unmute yourself, Rafael?
Yes,
Yeah, you
yes,
can.
I did. I did. I wanted to wish you a safe travel.
Yes.
I will send you the address to your phone,
Mm-hmm.
WhatsApp,
Mm-hmm.
and we will see Drissa probably tomorrow.
Yes. Oh, before I forget, have a look at something that you will see for real. I will need to close this light because have a look, you guys, because look what I just printed out. You can see this beautiful, wait, where's my light? Here. You see this picture behind me or behind this? Now have a look, enjoy. I'm changing the vibration within the light. Can you see it? Isn't it awesome?
Mhm.
And the most beautiful thing with this as well is that it actually, by experiencing it, it will actually mirror your emotional state. So it's a very powerful image. And I didn't explain it now, but I will explain it in the next one on how colors are connected to our chakra points and to our higher and lower energies. You guys, well, the guys that I will see tomorrow in Paris, you guys will be lucky because you guys will be able to experience like the singing bowls and cool stuff. Roy, oh, thank you, Roy, for you. Awesome that you are part of this ceremony. Did you like it, Roy? Are you happy that you joined?
Yeah, I'm happy I enjoyed.
Nice, man. Because Roy is actually one of the guys when I started this whole journey that just gave me a call randomly and said, "Hey, are you awake?" And he did it. He left at 8 in the morning, something like that, because we spoke about everything, and he's one of the inspirations to do what I want to do. Once again, really lovely to. Yeah, actually, I would love to actually say hi to everyone. Also, Andrew. Andrew. Oh wait, can I unmute you? Actually everyone, because we're not that
Yeah.
big.
Hey, Michelle.
Thank you for supporting this awesomeness.
My pleasure.
How did you like the first ceremonies, the first online ceremony we did?
Great, great. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I found it really interesting. I can resonate with a lot of what you said.
Nice.
Yeah, because as you know, I've been doing my own transformational work across the last 10 years, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of similarities, but also a lot of new stuff as well.
Nice.
And,
Yeah.
and kind of the same thing but told in a different way as well, which is also really valuable.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, because I'm really happy that you joined my my webinar, because you do something that I would love to collaborate maybe on with the future. So it's even better. And
Do this. Yeah.
yes, actually now you're all unmuted. But Vasil, also I see you tomorrow because yeah, awesome. How did you like it? I'm curious.
Say again?
How was the ceremony for you?
Oh, perfect. Even though I already know your stuff because we've been talking about it a lot.
Exactly.
And yeah, but it's great, man. And keep doing it. You're gonna rock it, and
I will.
we're gonna see each other really, really soon.
We will.
Yes.
Hey, as a closing, this is also for Drissa. Nice that you're here, man. How did you like the ceremony?
Yeah, thank you very much, Michel. It was really great. I really love your energy, your passion, and you are a game changer. Keep going, and yeah, good luck. I really love your work.
Thank you. Well, once again, yeah, this is the first one of many, and I will see you soon. Ciao.